Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Thorson again. Welcome back to APECON. Today we're going to move on to learning about supply and what it is and how we measure it. Let me bring the presentation up and we'll get started. I feel like a YouTube star. Hey, let's get started. While it's being slow, this is section 3 in chapter 4, and then section 4 we'll be doing next over the shifts in supply. All right, so supply, what we're looking at is the quantity supplied is any good that is sold and what a seller is willing to sell. So it's any good that is the amount that the sellers are willing and able to sell. So they might be able to sell like 5,000 of their product. They might be willing to sell 7,000, but that can't count towards quantity supplied. It's not only what they are willing to sell, but actually able to sell. So the law of supply says this, that quantity supplied of a good rises when the price of the good rises, and the quantity supplied of a good drops when the price of the good drops, all things equal. So it's hard for us to maybe think about that. Like, why would a supplier supply way more if the prices are high? You have to put yourself in the shoes of a producer. Assume you have a product that you're seeing lots of people are buying and they're buying for high prices. You're going to want to make more of that. Like, for instance, Samsung, they make all types of electronics. So they might be making a ton of TVs and cell phones because people are paying high prices for it. So that's what they would supply more of versus making like a VCR or a DVD player, because if you look anywhere for those, they're cheap, no one's buying them, so they're not going to supply as many. Just like with demand, you're going to be using a schedule with the data to plot these on a graph. And the supply schedule shows the relationship between price and the quantity supplied. So let's look at Starbucks, for example. Let's assume that Starbucks is charging for those lattes that Helen was buying in the demand example. As you can see, they're more willing to supply more lattes when prices go up. Of course, if that's where they're going to make their money, that's the number one goal of any business, is to make money. So when they see prices are up, they're going to want to supply more. And it obeys that law of supply. Price and quantity supplied have a positive relationship, meaning they both go up together or they both go down together. So when you plot these points, you're just plotting them on the XY axis. Remember, quantity is always on the X, price is always on the Y. So you just plot these points. And once you do that, you connect the dots and you have a supply curve. So you use the supply schedule data to plot the curve or the line on the graph, and you can see that it has a positive relationship because both are going up together. Now, that's when I look at the market supply versus the individual supply. What we just looked at with Starbucks, we're assuming that that's like an individual supply. So that's like an individual business's supply. But the market supply is the sum of all quantity supplies of all sellers at each price. So if you were to add up every single seller of lattes in the market of lattes and put all those numbers together and put it on a graph, that's going to show the market supply rather than just one company's supply. So let's say that in the name of keeping things simple, the entire market of lattes are Starbucks and Pete's Coffee Shop. So we look at those, we look at how much Starbucks and Pete's would provide or would supply, the quantity they would supply at each price, and you get the market supply curve at each individual price. Okay, so you can see at $0, Starbucks and Pete's would provide 0 cups of or 0 lattes, so therefore the market supply is 0. At $1, Starbucks would supply 3 lattes, Pete's would supply 2, so the whole entire market of lattes at the price of $1 is 5. And you just plot it just like you would, exactly the same as you did with an individual supply curve. It's all the same. And it's the same rule. You can see the law of supply is still working here. As prices go up, quantity supplies go up. So it's the same exact thing. Tomorrow, I'm going to be teaching you about the supply shifts, because sometimes things other than the price of that particular product do make the entire curve shift, and we'll look at that. Otherwise, we're done for the day. Go ahead and do your worksheet that goes with this video. I will talk to you later. Bye.